Hello, this is Mr. K again. Welcome to your train assembly. All your pieces are created. You're going to open an assembly in Inventor. Okay, creating the assembly of the train. I'm going to come here, and what we're going to do is we're going to place. A lot of times the first time you come in, it'll say place from content center. And when you do that, you're choosing from a central location where everybody stores their stuff. And that's not what we're doing. We're placing from our personal hard drive. And so I'm just going to make sure you're choosing just place. And we want to make sure we're in the correct folder. So I'm in my Mr. K drive all the way down to where I've got all my parts. You might have to go and find them. We'll start with the train body. And as I put this out here, you'll notice it's, oh my gosh, it's huge, and it makes you think I don't want it to be that big. I'm going to go ahead and set it down. And once you set it down, click it down, it puts it out there. Now I could put a second one if I want to. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to right click OK. And I'm going to move out just a little bit, scroll away just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of my parts out here that I need, and I'm going to put them kind of where they need to be. Not real close, but I need to be able to see both sides when I'm putting all this stuff down. I'm going to go ahead and choose place again, and this time I'm going to put my wheels out there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can, if you want to, you can rotate how you're putting this thing out there. So they're facing the opposite direction. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Right click OK. I'm going to place a new part, axle peg. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Place the Cowcatcher. Put it there. I'm going to place the linkage arm. Need 2 of those. 1, 2. I want to place the linkage peg. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to place the hitch magnet in the back. And then I want to place the hitch peg. 1, and I'm going to put another one out here because I'm going to do something special with it at the end. Right click OK. All right, so I'm going to start with the wheels because I feel like they're probably the easiest. When we go into constraint, what you've used before in the past is the mate and the flush. And while those are great for flat surfaces, they're not very good for curved surfaces. And everything we're dealing with here is going to be these circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this one called Insert. And when I go to Insert, you can insert corner to corner, it's opposed, or you can insert and they're aligned, which means it's either mate or flush. But they're doing it with insert, so you're lining up those 2 circles. And so I'm going to come here and I want to choose a circle here, and I'm going to put it on the circle here. But when I do, I want to make sure it's not this circle, because if I do this circle and put it here, you'll see it turn the wheel around. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to choose, I want to make sure I choose the correct one. And as you look here, you can see you can start grabbing circles that are in the back as well as circles that are in the front. So I want this circle that's in the back. So it really is the one that's behind it. If I were to turn it around, it would be that circle there. But I'm lazy and I don't want to turn it around. And I'm going to apply it there. And now you can see, if I hit OK, you can see that it's attached. Now, there's something that I've done wrong here. And what can you see that I've done wrong? My train body is moving around as I attach those 2 together, which means I forgot to ground the first piece. So I'm going to click off. I want to make sure I choose the train body, and I'm going to ground that first piece. If you don't ground that piece, everything else as it moves around will start splitting the difference between them, and it's going to get the train all off in a weird direction. So when you start to print it out, it won't be facing the right direction, and you'll have some problems. So now that you can see my train wheel spins on that central axis, and you're just going to go through and you're going to do that with every single one. So I'm not going to go step by step. I'm just going to do these next 4 wheels fairly quickly. All right, so now I'm going to start putting in the axle pegs. When we put in these axle pegs, we really want, if I turn it around here, what I really want is I want that circle. So that circle is going to line up with this circle. And you're going to do that with each one. Don't forget to hit apply after each time. Okay, so one of the big problems I've seen in the past is when people start to put the linkage arm onto the train body, they choose the wrong circle when they're putting the linkage arm. You want to make sure that you're grabbing the correct one. I'm going to hit OK now because I want to make sure that you can see that these things, how they're attaching to each other. And so we're going to make sure that we choose the right one to fit it in there. So to do that, I want to make sure I'm grabbing the back circle. If I grab this front circle and try to put it there, it won't work. The other thing is this length. If you haven't gotten this length right, as you move it around, it's not going to line up correctly. So constrain, insert, the back circle, apply. Now, if your linkage arm is the correct length, it will spin together. And then the linkage pin, remember it's going to be that small circle underneath the shoulder, goes into the small circle. It's just a matter of grabbing the correct one. If you can't find it, zoom in on it. Now for the hitch, or the Cowcatcher. This one's going to be a little more tough. It's the same concept. We just want to make sure we're choosing the correct one. So I don't want these outside ones. If you choose the outside circles here, what you end up with is a gap in between, and so that would be a mistake. So we want to make sure that we're grabbing the correct circle to insert. So it's going to be the back one here and the front one here. Apply. This time I'm going to hit cancel because I need to be able to move this stuff around. And what you're going to end up with is we want to tilt this so that we can see both this axle peg, this peg and the insert over here. So I want to be able to see them both at the same time. Constrain, insert, the back one and the front one. Okay. And so now it's on there and it won't move around. You can test these by pulling on them and they shouldn't move around. Oh, I forgot the smokestack. Let me place that in there. And it's the same thing. We want to make sure that we're grabbing the correct circle. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. So I go back and hit number 1. It lets me grab the correct one. And there it is. Apply. And now we have the magnet in the back. Apply. And there we go. So now, the only other thing I wanted to show you, when you're going to attach that second train, what you're going to do is you're not going to insert, you're going to create the second train and put it on here, but you're going to, this time you're going to tangent those two together. So you're going to tangent this peg and this peg. If I grab the right piece, cancel, let's try that again. Tangent this peg and this peg. Okay, and if I did it correctly, the two pegs will only be touching each other at small little increments, only at one little tiny spot. And so as you drag it around with the train body on there, that's where it's going to be connected. So there you go. I wish you the best of luck, and make sure you save all your work in the right spot.